The nightstand right there's located a lamp. She picks up the lamp and she hits me with it 3 times. I get up, I wrap my arms around her to stop her from assaulting me with the lamp. I let her go. When she dropped the lamp, I got back on the bed. She tried to swing at me, so I put my feet out.
You were romantically involved at some point, and you have a child together. How old is that child?
4 now, I believe.
No, she hasn't even turned 3 yet, Your Honor.
Were you and Miss Purcell living together at the time she was born?
Yes, ma'am.
How long did you live together after she was born?
It was off and on all the time, but it wasn't long. As soon as I found out I had a case on me, I ended up leaving.
What do you mean, a case on you? What kind of case on you?
Aggravated assault case on me.
What we're here for today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so at the time that this incident occurred, which was in 2022, were you living together, sir?
Yeah.
Where were you living?
Her residence.
That is not true, Your Honor.
Well, that sounds sort of peculiar, sir, because according to your complaint, you were driving her home. In any event, this is what your case is about. In 2022, there was an argument. And I gather that the argument ensued because you had gotten a babysitter for your daughter.
Correct.
And you didn't approve of this babysitter, so you were having a discussion with her about the babysitter.
I wasn't necessarily objecting to the babysitter. I had my concerns about it. I never once said my baby couldn't go there. I just said, hey, I kind of have these concerns. And that's how the incident arose, is because I brought my concerns to her right here.
And you're back at her residence?
No, the argument started in the car. She tried to throw my insulin out the window. It was in the middle console. There was nothing I could really do. She didn't end up throwing it out the window. I just let her know I'll get more. We made it back to the house. She slams the door. She walks in. I'm behind her. I had to park the car. She's yelling at me, cussing at me. And I'm shocked because, why would you be mad that I'm wondering about the care of my daughter? I never even said she couldn't go there. I was just more interested in the situation. She started cussing me out. She goes to leave.
Goes to leave?
She goes to walk out.
Out of the bedroom?
Out of the bedroom. I start laughing at her because it's hilarious. I bust up laughing at her because it's ridiculous. That just set her off.
Where were you when you were laughing?
I'm leaning on the bed, halfway on the bed, and my feet are on, the rest board. And the nightstand right there's located a lamp. She picks up the lamp and she hits me with it 3 times. I get up, I wrap my arms around her to stop her from assaulting me with the lamp. I let her go. When she dropped the lamp, I got back on the bed. She tried to swing at me, so I put my feet out, and she couldn't get to me. She picks up a porcelain cup. I'm like, no, don't do it. She threw it. I heard a pop, felt numbness. My leg, I looked down, my leg was bleeding. She grabbed her stethoscope and left. I call a friend. And he took me to the hospital, and
I'd like to see the hospital record if you have it.
Oh, yeah.
And this was on the 4th?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you speak to any police on the 4th?
No, not on the 4th. I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't call him.
Just a second. Okay. So now you're at the hospital, you received sutures. I've read the hospital record. It indicates that you had a relatively serious injury.
Yes, ma'am.
Does indicate that you have type 1 diabetes.
Yes, ma'am.
And you did not file charges against her.
Nah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. But there were charges that were filed against you.
100%.
Okay. Now, why don't you tell me your version of now we're in the bedroom?
So now we're in the bedroom, and I'm trying to grab my stethoscope so I could go to work. And I'm on my way, trying to go out the door, and he was blocking it, telling me that he wanted to take my car and drop me off, and he was gonna go pick up our daughter from the babysitter because he didn't like the babysitter. So we were fighting about that, and he said he wanted to go pick her up, and I told him he's not gonna pick her up, and he's not gonna take my car. And he was blocking the doorway, so I tried to push past him. And
how did you try to do that?
Because he had his arms and like blocking it, so I tried to go in between, and it didn't work. And he had pushed me and thrown me on the bed, and he was choking me.
And how did he do that? How did he push you on the bed and choke you?
So when he pushed me back, I kind of just stumbled, and then I don't know, he grabbed me and threw me on the bed. I really don't recall how it happened. He was just on top of me on the bed, and he was choking me. And I was trying to get him off, and I believe I need him. At some point, he had gotten off of me after choking me, and I got up to run out the door, and he got up to chase after me, and so I grabbed the porcelain cup that was on the nightstand, and on my way out, I threw it behind me at him. And then I went and got in the car, and I went to work.
What time of the day was this?
I want to say around 4 p.m.-ish, 5 p.m.
Okay, and you went to work?
Correct.
And you work an 8-hour shift?
That time, yes.
And then you went home?
I picked up the baby, and then I went home, yes.
What time did you pick up the baby?
I think it was about 11:30 midnight.
And you went home?
Yes.
He was not there?
No, he was not there.
Okay, happened the next day?
The next day, I worked again, and the cops had come to me.
Just a second. Cops don't come to you unless somehow they're notified.
Well, this wasn't the next day. So the day I went to work, before coming home, I had gone online and filed for an emergency protective order.
Just a second. You mean on the 4th?
Yes, on the 4th, my first day back at work. So I had texted him while at work and told him, make sure you're not at my house when I get there. And he had said, well, I get mail here, so that means I live here. You're going to have to evict me.
Okay, so you have those texts?
Unfortunately, I do not have those texts.
Do you have those texts?
Nah, man.
Do they
I don't.
exist?
I don't know. I don't even know what she's talking about.
Okay, well, if you don't have those texts, they don't exist.
And then from that point, so then I went online and I filed for an emergency protective order, which was granted.
Just a second. Can I have a copy of what
Yes.
you filed online?
This is when I filed on the 4th, but they had granted me a wrong one on accident. They granted me, I believe.
Just a second.
She actually had me served with 2 of them.
Just a second. I'm trying to see what you indicate here that he did specifically. In Utah, you don't have to write a narrative of what he did?
There was.
Just a second. Just answer my question. That's
It
a
was
yes or a no.
submitted,
It's
yeah.
not here.
I do have the police report from that night, from April 4th.
I'd like to take a look at it. No, this is something that was done by the police on April 6th.
Can I explain that, Your Honor?
Shh. It's dispatched to a domestic violence incident that occurred on Monday, April 4th. The victim, that's Marcus Polidor, stated his girlfriend was so upset with him, hit him in his leg with a porcelain cup. Okay, so she has pictures and she apologizes. There were text messages that the police saw that she's sorry for hitting him with the mug, but also states she would not have done that if he didn't choke her. Okay, so you were notified that she had filed a protective order online.
Yeah.
Not yeah.
Yeah.
That's a yes. And after you were notified that she filed the protective order online, you spoke to the police.
Yeah,
It
well,
says-
that's who she sent to the house to serve me. So when they came to the house, I was shocked. I was like, why am I getting a protective order served on me? She tried to sever my leg.
Okay, now I'm going to see the photographs of your leg, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm going to see photographs of your neck. Can you tell me when these pictures were taken? Because you attached.
That's what she sent the police. That's right out of my discovery from when they charged
No,
me.
no.
That was,
Is this? Can I see the pictures? Pictures. This.
that's what the police gave me out of my discovery. That whole 2 years I fought this case, that's the evidence they had on me.
Okay. Now, these are your photographs that you're showing me.
Yes.
You want to make a circle where you say his handprints are?
I'm sorry?
You want to make a circle where
Oh.
you want me to see his handprints are. And maybe you have better photographs.
I do. They're here.
Well, I'd like to take a look at them because
Okay.
those don't show me anything. I mean, this spot right here? Is that what you're talking about?
That was just a scratch on the other side from his fingernail. I'm talking on the top one, if you can see some fingerprint.
Okay, now, what happened in January of 2024?
So the charge was dismissed. I fought that case for 2 years.
He took a plea deal, Your Honor.
Shh. What happened to the case that you fought?
Oh, it dismissed with prejudice.
I'd like to see.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
I have them here if you'd like. I have copies.
I would.
shows that they were dropped in part of a plea
I
deal.
can't hear you when I'm reading. This is interesting. Sir, you took a plea in January of 2024 to violating the temporary protection order.
Yes, ma'am, not in this.
Okay. And what did that violation allege?
That I went to the house?
Just
That's
that you
what a
went to the house?
That's what a protective order is?
No. Just that you went to the house is my question.
That's what I pled to. I mean, that's contact with her. That's what I
Okay.
pled to.
I have the police report for that violation
I'd like
as well.
to see it.
I've got the police report for both violations. You want just the first one that we're talking about?
I'd like to see both.
Okay.
Both violation. What's she talking about?
And then I also have 4 more copies of protective orders as well. If you'd
No,
like
I
to
don't
see
need
those.
it. What? I need, not right now. Okay, this occurred in October of 2022 on her complaint that you had gone to pick up your daughter from friends and failing to return her. That's what this was about.
That's not what happened.
I'm just telling you what the complaint
Okay.
was.
I ain't never got no paper like that, though. I ain't never got charged with that.
Polidor was screened on count 1 of the violation of the protective order for his action of calling Purcell.
I never got. That's a lie.
Calling Purcell as opposed to only contacting her by text message
Nah, that ain't true.
as ordered and served in the protective order.
That ain't true.
I'm just trying to figure out what you pled guilty to.
I told you.
What?
Violation of protective order.
By what conduct?
She invited me to the house. I went to the house.
On what date?
That was
would-
October. I went to, was it November? I went to
That's
jail that night.
It would be the police report that's highlighted in blue.
She's giving you all kind of stuff. I ain't never even seen that in my life. Never even heard this.
I'm sorry, the green highlighted police report is what he's
Bet.
speaking of right now. The one that you have in your hand, it's got the
It's all
green tag.
irrelevant.
What he pled guilty to.
He had texted me, said he was out of money, and asked if there was any insulin in my fridge that he could come and get. And I put it on the porch, sent him a picture of it, and said, come get it off the porch and go, because I had a protective order. And I didn't lock my door. I wasn't really good at locking my door. And he had walked in, and I was doing the dishes, and the baby was sitting there, and I told him, she did the little baby bounce, like she was happy to see him. So I said, okay, 10 minutes, but you gotta go. Well, then he grabbed some alcohol off my counter and started drinking it. He didn't want to leave, and we got into an altercation at that time. And he poured beer on our infant daughter. And
No,
that
she's
is the one
lying.
that he pled guilty to, that violation
No,
of
she's
protective
lying.
order.
Okay, so in January of 2024, I am correct, sir, that you went to court and resolved all of these outstanding protective orders by you taking a plea to violating the temporary protection order, and all the other charges were dismissed with prejudice, and she was granted a permanent protective order.
Yeah, and I was glad to sign it, too.
That's either a yes or a no.
Yes.
Okay, so you had a permanent protective order.
And it also...
May I?
You want to see it?
Yes.
It also, I've highlighted it. It says that he's supposed to pay me restitution.
I just want to see it, please.
Read it.
Okay, so she has a permanent protective order that looks like it expires in the year 3000.
Yeah, yes.
I hope you're here when it expires.
Me too.
So, now you pled guilty.
Yes, I did take a plea deal, but they didn't have evidence on me in the first place. There's nothing on this young lady. There ain't nothing on her.
Well, you had an absolute opportunity at the time when the judge was hearing all of these matters that had been pending for 2 years
Yes, ma'am.
to say, I did violate the temporary order of protection. I'm prepared to take a plea to that, but I want a trial on the original request for an order of protection.
On the original request, that had nothing to do with this case. And I'm just gonna say it like this. Why would I take that to trial when I fought that for 2 years? They didn't have any evidence on me in the first place.
I don't know
and it
why,
got
sir.
dismissed. It got dismissed.
I don't know why.
Why
You
would I
wanna
keep
tell-
messing with my life?
You
like
want to
that?
tell me what your counterclaim is?
Yes, so there is a loss of wages, which I...
For what?
There were 5 court appearances that I had to go to that I missed work for.
Who cares?
And then the other is The $2,000 is for my assault for when he assaulted me, because when I hit him, I did hit him, but I hit him in self-defense because he was assaulting me.
I don't understand. So you want your lost wages, which you're not getting.
Okay.
You didn't go to a doctor, hospital, anything else for these marks that I can hardly see in your photographs.
Correct.
Okay? And you went to work, so you didn't miss a day of work, even the day after the incident.
Yeah, so the work that I missed was for courts.
I don't care.
Okay,
What else?
that's it.
Do you see your daughter regularly?
Nah, I ain't.
The protective order says that you can see your daughter.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
you contact her mother.
Yes, ma'am, and I've reached out to her mama. She ain't never got back to me.
Nope.
So, no, there's
That's
only one
inaccurate.
thing to do now, and as soon as I leave here, please believe I'm gonna do it. Yup, it's coming. It's coming.
What?
I'm about to file for visitation. I ain't seen my daughter
Well, that's
in
a
2
very,
years.
very good idea, Mr. Polidori.
Why?
That's a very good idea that you file for visitation.
100%.
It would have been my first stop, not in civil court, but my first stop was to file to see my daughter.
Can I say
not
something?
Not file for what?
Well, I gotta get my life right. I can't, after all this, I've had to rebuild everything. I lost my job. A whole bunch of stuff happened behind this, so I have to rebuild my life. I am working right now, yes, and of course, I'm gonna go file for visitation with my daughter, but I had to get my stuff right. I can't go and my baby's life just broke down. Come on, man, I ain't gonna do that. Now, I'm in a position to where I can go do it, because this is bogus. This is so bogus.
So then you should go to family court
100%,
and
I'll
get
do
it
it.
straight.
Yep.
This is not the court for you to get it straight. I can't do that for you.
I'm not asking you to. I'm asking you to give me the money she owed me.
She doesn't owe you any money.
She don't owe me money for busting my leg like that?
What I said to you is you had an opportunity to question whether or not
Right.
this act was in self-defense, which she says it was, for this choking. I don't know if that happened, but you had
You
an
see the
absolute
pictures.
opportunity when you were before a court to say, I did not do that,
I've been
and
saying
I
it for
want a
2 years.
trial on that with a lawyer.
I fought that case for 2 years. That being on my mental...
We're done. I've explained it as best as I can. Your counterclaim is dismissed, as is your claim, sir.
Actually did it, I would have just not fought it for that long. I fought it for 2 years. It was wearing on my life, and now all of a sudden I don't get paid for what she did. She tried to sever my leg, bro.
It's just to uproot and mess with my life because he had nothing better to do.
It is what it is.
Yeah, the restraining order's there for life for a reason, and yeah, I don't plan to ever see him again.
With your ruling out there a little bit, only because you made it seem like a requirement that he bring this issue, the issue of his leg and the medical bills that he suffered, and we saw the photos and he went to the hospital right away. The fact that he didn't bring that up in the criminal case, you made it seem as if that's a requirement for him to be reimbursed here today in a civil court for those bills.
Problem is that initial incident on the 4th, even the way he described it, they had an argument in the car. She was furious. She went to throw his insulin out the window. She got out of the car, slammed the door, went into the house. He followed her into the house and followed her into the bedroom where they continued to argue. Do I know what happened there? I know that he ended up more seriously injured, but I also know that she was sufficiently fearful of him to, at work, go online and say, I'm afraid that he's going to be there when I get back. I don't want him to be there. And if you don't want, to me, when you have an opportunity to test an issue and you have a lawyer, and you can test that issue when you choose not to, but you choose to plead guilty to part of that action, you then don't go and forum shop civilly and then acknowledge violating, at least on 2 occasions, the order of protection. Anyway,
I understand.
glad to hear your opinion.
Thank you.
All right, this case right here, this wasn't just messy, this was exhausting. Because the moment 2 people start telling a story about the same incident and it sounds like they were in 2 completely different houses, you already know the truth is buried somewhere in the middle. Let's slow this down. They have a child together, a toddler. Already, that raises the stakes. Now, he says she picked up a lamp and hit him 3 times. He says he restrained her. He says she threw a porcelain cup and it cut his leg badly enough that he needed stitches. And the hospital record backs up that he was injured. That part is real. But then she says he blocked the doorway. She says he pushed her on the bed. She says he choked her. She says she threw the cup behind her while trying to escape. See how both stories have just enough detail to feel believable, but not enough clarity to feel clean. Here's what stood out to me. He didn't call the police that night. That's interesting, because if someone tried to sever your leg, most people are dialing 911 immediately. Instead, he called a friend and went to the hospital. Meanwhile, she goes to work, and from work, she files for a protective order online. That tells me something important. She felt afraid enough to involve the system first. Now, could she be exaggerating? Sure, but filing a protective order the same day, that's not casual behavior. And here's the part that changes everything for me. He fought the case for 2 years. Then, he took a plea to violating the protective order. Now, I know people take plea deals all the time just to end stress. I get that. Court is draining. It costs money. It messes with your job. It messes with your head. But once you plead guilty to violating a protective order, you lose a lot of moral high ground, especially when there were multiple violations. Because if she's so dangerous and she tried to sever your leg, why are you going back to her house? Why are you calling? Why are you walking inside after being told not to? That part doesn't sit right. And on her side, her counterclaim didn't hold much weight either. You can't come in and say, he assaulted me, and then show photos where the marks are barely visible, didn't seek medical attention, didn't miss work, and then ask for 2,000 talents. That's not how damages work. The judge was basically saying, you had your moment in criminal court, that was the battlefield. Civil court isn't where you redo it because you're unhappy with the outcome. And honestly, the saddest part of this entire thing is the child. They're fighting about lamps, porcelain cups, insulin, protective orders, and somewhere in the middle of that is a toddler who just wants both parents to be stable. He says, I gotta get my life right before I go to family court. And I actually respected that honesty. That's the first real thing he said that didn't feel defensive. Because at the end of the day, the real court he needs isn't this one. It's family court. If you want to see your daughter, file for visitation. If you want stability, build it. If you want to prove you're not violent, show it through consistent behavior, dragging each other through civil claims over old domestic chaos. That's just reliving trauma. This whole case feels like two people who were toxic together, who escalated arguments instead of de-escalating, who never really learned how to disengage. And once police, protective orders, and pleas get involved, it's no longer about who started it. It becomes about patterns, and judges look at patterns. Protective order granted, violations admitted. Permanent order issued. That tells a story. Not a perfect one, not a clean one, but a story. At the end of the day, neither one of them walked out looking strong. He didn't get money, she didn't get damages. The only thing that remains permanent is that protective order. And honestly, that might be the healthiest outcome for both of them, distance. If you appreciate real breakdowns like this, not yelling, not picking sides blindly, but actually thinking through what happened, support the channel. Like the video, subscribe, drop your thoughts below. We're here for real conversations about real cases. I'll see you in the next one.